Hi, I'm Chris Fox, and welcome to my kitchen and welcome to Idaho. I am a contestant for the Real Women of Philadelphia, and there are Real Women in Idaho as well. Today we're going to be making twice baked potatoes. These are a 3-cheese twice baked potato, and one of a favorite recipe from my mother. So this is one of my favorite recipes as well. We're going to be using, of course, good old-fashioned Idaho potatoes. When you go to the store to select your potatoes, make sure that you select a nice baker. You need to get at least uniform sizes, and that way it'll look nicer on your plate. This is also a great meal if you are time crunched and you've got a dinner party coming up, because this can be made in advance and be stored in your fridge until just before your party, and you will wow everyone at your party. So this is a pretty simple recipe because I'm busy and I know everyone else is busy. I have baked 2 potatoes. They baked about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I do not like to bake the potatoes on a real high heat because that releases the starches and makes them become too fluffy. If you like a fluffy potato, then by all means cook it on a high heat and you'll see what happens to the starch inside your potato. So let me grab a serrated knife and we'll get started. When you're doing the twice baked potatoes, you need to let the potato cool just a little bit, and I'm kind of a wuss, so I need to hold mine with a dish towel. We're just going to cut a nice little oval out of the top, not too deep, really. I don't even know, it's probably maybe a ½ inch at the most. And then we are going to go ahead and scrape the inside of the potato out. It's pretty easy to do when it's hot like this, and just scrape it into the bowl that you're going to mix into. Now remember, the potatoes need to be about a ¼ inch around for the shell. If you do happen to cut the skin, it's not a big deal. Just make sure you serve that potato to yourself at your dinner party. So you can see when the potatoes are hot like this that the meat of the potato or the flesh of the potato just comes out in a jiffy. A couple of things that you should know about potatoes is that if you do get a potato that has a green spot in it, it's no cause for alarm. Those green spots are actually caused by the sun, and so that means during their growing period that somehow they were exposed to the sunlight, and that's what that green is. Now, although it doesn't look that appetizing, you can just cut it away, but some people, I think that there's something wrong with the potato, but there isn't. So we have our first potato shell ready, and we're going to go ahead and cut our next one. This recipe can be done for 2 people, 1 person, or for a whole big dinner party. So just the measurements will depend on how much you need as far as the cream cheese goes, and the cheese and the bacon. But my ingredients are, for these 2 potatoes, I'm doing 2 slices of bacon. I'm also doing 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 ounces of cream cheese, 2 green onions, and that's just sort of how I figure the measurements for that. So it's fairly easy, but you'll be able to read the recipe online if you need to. Okay, so we just about have these cleaned out, and we are going to go ahead and get our cheese started. Now, my cream cheese is already softened, but a good tip is if your cream cheese is not pre-softened, if you haven't let it set out and come up to room temperature, then you can just go ahead and drop it in with your potatoes and it'll get soft while it's in there. And the cream cheese is extremely important in this recipe because it makes the potatoes so creamy when you're done. So we'll put our 2 ounces of cream cheese in, and then we're going to put just a little over 2 tablespoons of butter because I'm not on a diet at this point in time and I love butter. So we'll let those sit in there and they will start to kind of melt down as we get ready to grate our cheese. One of the things about, I'll let you take a look at that inside the bowl, it's just simple like that. One of the things that drives me crazy. Okay, we're having a few technical difficulties because my cameraman is my husband, and I really appreciate all that he's doing. So we want to make sure that we've got our cream cheese and our butter in with our hot potatoes right now, and we're going to quickly grate our cheese in. Make sure that you have a good strong cheese grater. If you've got a cheapo cheese grater, it just makes your life more difficult. Also, when you're doing this recipe, make sure that you use a nice sharp cheddar cheese. This cheddar cheese is just your standard grocery store cheddar cheese, but it is sharp, and you can use less cheese when you do that. My other favorite cheese is Monterey Jack, so we're going to grate about 3 or 4 ounces of Monterey Jack into the bowl here. I like to put it in, it melts it, it makes it extra cheesy, and just makes them extra creamy when you get them out, and they're so beautiful. Okay, so now we've got our cheese grated in there. This is a fairly simple recipe. It's all just like a all-in-one recipe, all-in-one bowl recipe. I previously actually cooked 2 pieces of bacon in the microwave. I prefer to cook the bacon in the microwave for this. I'm going to change knives. What am I thinking? And I like it in the microwave because it makes it nice and crispy, but it doesn't burn it. You can also do bacon in your oven to cut down on the mess, but I find that the microwave just makes it so crispy and so easy, and my whole house doesn't stink like bacon. So we're going to go ahead and add most of that bacon in, but we're going to save a little bit out for a garnish on the top, and we'll go ahead and set it in that bowl. This recipe also calls for a few sprigs of parsley, and we'll chop that up. The parsley is mostly just for color and doesn't take too much to get that chopped up and put in there. So just a couple quick slices through it adds a beautiful color to it. One of the most important parts about this recipe is the onion. And if you're not an onion fan, then this may not be the recipe for you. But I love onions, and do 1 green onion per potato that you're putting in your recipe. Slice them fairly thin, and then come back and you can give them just 1 more chop. So they're not huge, but they do give a nice texture to the potato. One thing about grating your cheese when you do it like that, I know lots of moms are really busy, and if you'll take and grate your whole block of cheese when you get that and just put like a quarter teaspoon of cornstarch into a bag, into a Ziploc bag, you can shake that cheese and it's just like the pre-grated cheese from the store. It's super convenient, and we know that we're always looking for ways to be convenient. So I'm going to head on over here to the mixer, and I'm going to mix this up and get it ready to put in my potatoes. I mean, back into my potatoes, I should say. Okay, now we've got this mixed in. We need to get this just a little bit creamier. I like to use canned milk because it just has a nice rich flavor to it. And just do it about 1 tablespoon at a time until you get it the texture that you like it. And that's it, they're done. And they are ready to put back into your shells. Get that off my beater there. Now, when you do these, just take your spoon and just stuff it clear to the ends, both sides. You can put these in a pastry bag and put it in a beautiful, nice fashion, but I live in the real world where we eat real food, and I think this actually looks just as nice. So we're going to go ahead and do this. So we can see bits of the onion, we can see bits of the bacon, and then we're going to go ahead and top this with a little extra bacon on the top, and we'd fill the other shell and put it into the oven, or put it into the fridge, either way. If you put it in the fridge and it's cold, it's going to take you about 40 minutes to heat these up at about 300. If they go back into the oven right now, it's going to take you no more than about 10 minutes to get those bubbling over the top. I do have one in the oven now that I'm going to pull out and show to you and get it plated up for you. I'm going to set this one to the side and grab that out of the oven. Got a little bit of a mess going on here. So, oh, my garbage can's missing. Pull this out and set it up here. All you need to do now is just take a little sprig of parsley that's beautiful. You can see the bacon on the top. It's hot, it's delicious, it's coming out over the top. Put that on, serve that up with a grilled steak. A ribeye would be perfect with it, and a nice big green salad. You could also serve that with a nice piece of prime rib, or just about anything. Everybody in my house likes it. Now, let me do the final taste, and I'll let you know how that tastes. Get down through a little bit of the crust. Your family's going to love it. Oh, and don't forget, salt and pepper to taste, how you like it. Hey, thanks for coming to my kitchen, and thanks for joining us with the Real Women of Philadelphia. I'm Chris Fox, and I'll be back with my next dish next week. Bye-bye.